All right, so before we get into all the craziness of Bootstrap marketing and all the data you can use and all the great information that we're going to provide today, I wanted to share my journey with you. And the reason I'm doing this is because I'm not the greatest humble bragger in the world, but I do want you to understand why you should listen to me. I have worked with a lot of companies. I've been tremendously successful with helping other people like yourself become successful through digital advertising. So here is a quick video about my journey. Here's my story in 90 seconds. I was born, adopted. I grew up around complete dysfunction, drugs, alcohol, and crazy situations. I moved to Los Angeles at 17 years old to pursue a career in music. Native tongue, metal, grunge, funk, hip hop. Signed by Atlantic Records. Yeah! Dropped by Atlantic Records. Broke with 2 kids. Found mentor Nancy West. Moved to Austin, Texas. Changed mindset. Got job, tech startup, company failed. Got second job, tech startup, company failed. Broke again with 2 kids. Started my company at 34 years old in a cheap apartment with a cheap laptop and no college degree. My company struggled for 2 years and then took off. Minnesota Vikings owner and billionaire Red McCombs invests in my company. Second mentor, Red McCombs and his team. Explosive growth, 2ing 500s, sold the company. Took break, drank beer, played music. Next venture, Curve, explosive technology, explosive growth, won 2 Lumiere awards. After that crazy journey, I made a decision. I wanted to do for other entrepreneurs what Red McCombs did for me. And that Guardian CEO. What I'm going to show you today will truly mean nothing unless you have the right attitude and belief in what you're doing. In fact, a digital advertising campaign is really similar to growing a company. It requires patience, perseverance, persistence, belief, data, and humility. Really, the data part and the humility part are really, really important to understand. I've been in situations where we looked at millions of data points and we've had people in the room that didn't want to pivot just because it was their idea. So it's really important to listen to the data, to be patient, and to be persistent, but ultimately to believe in what you're doing and to persevere. I truly have been lucky and blessed to have worked with some of the biggest companies that you've heard of, and been very successful with helping those companies do campaigns. But I've also worked with some of the smallest startups because I was a small startup twice. And typically I prefer working with the smaller companies because I really enjoy the bootstrapping method. But I have worked with companies like Disney and Apple and a lot of very big companies, which, you know, I have a unique background from the perspective that I understand what it's like to be small and nimble and have to bootstrap, but I also understand what it's like to have huge budgets and to be able to scale on a big level. And so lucky and blessed to have had that experience. That is my last humble brag of this webinar. Thank you very much. There are 2 strategies to scale with digital ads. First one is big budget with optimization and to use the platform that you're advertising on to trigger the algorithms and to trigger the optimization process that happens. So typically, if you've ever run Facebook ads or Instagram ads, or really any ads on any platform, how it works is the faster you spend the money, the faster that it optimizes, right? And of course, you're going to use multiple ads when you do that. You know, the hard part about this is when you're starting out, is if you have 5 to 10 different ads and messages and offers and none of them resonate or only one of them resonates, you could go through a lot of money very, very quickly trying to figure out what's going to work. And you may get very little to no sales, very little to no real data capture because, you know, basically you're waiting for their algorithm, their targeting to really kind of figure out what's going to work and what's going to resonate with people. So I've seen people go through a lot of money just trying to prove the concept of what they're doing. And the proof of concept, which we're going to get into in the next slide here, is very, very important. What we are talking about today is bootstrapping. We are talking about bootstrapping and really combining technology with human contact. That's really important. Technology with human contact and automation. This can be done for a very small monthly budget, and you're usually able to get a very quick return on investment. You're going to capture all the data that you need in order to scale. So when you're looking at a big budget campaign, you're looking at money that's being spent to get data so you can learn, and then you can eventually scale once you've learned. With our bootstrapping method that we're going through today, you're going to use a lot of messaging combined with human contact and technology and automation to get a lot of meetings, to generate sales. And while we're generating sales, we're going to learn. We're going to optimize. And then after you go through this process, you are able to do, number one, big budgets, and to have them scale very, very quickly if you so desire. If you stay with bootstrapping, it's perfectly fine, and you can have a really great business without making that business big. So both methods can work, but the bootstrapping method can eventually lead to big budget marketing that will work with no human contact. So once again, we have human contact with automation and technology to get a quick ROI, to get data capture that you need to scale, to get all the things that we need to understand in order to scale the business. By the way, we do free consultations, and if you want to do that, there is a code right there that you can scan, and I am more than happy to meet with you, and I do all the free consultations myself because, believe it or not, I actually love doing this, and I love working with entrepreneurs. This is how I spend my days now, and I really, really enjoy it. So I mentioned on the last slide proof of concept, but what exactly are we looking for? When we want to prove the concept of a digital marketing campaign, well, we have a term that is called finding the magic bullet. It's the name of our accelerator as well. So what we're doing is we're looking to find the perfect combination of targeting, message, and offer. When you find the right demographics, psychographics, company size, behavior, whatever it may be, you combine that with the right message, a message that resonates with that target, and also the right offer, the right price, the right payment schedule, the right value adds, the right amount of human engagement that you're going to have as part of the offer, we have found that what we're looking for in the proof of concept are these three items that are working together in a harmonious fashion. So when you nail the demographics and you nail the message and you nail the offer, that is what we call the magic bullet. Now, this is all easier said than done, but that is what we're going to get into today. And we're going to show you how to figure out to find targeting, message, and offer, and how to do that with technology and human contact. So focus on proof of concept. I've seen many times where people get too focused on immediate revenue and it ends up killing a campaign. So you want to focus on really target, message, and an offer. And of course, you don't want to go broke while you're doing it, but focusing on proof of concept and really just having a focus group mentality. You know, we have the greatest focus group in the history of the world, and it's called the internet. And there's so much that you can do there to really figure out what is going to resonate with your audience. It's amazing if you know how to do it the right way. So don't focus on scale. Don't focus on immediate revenue and how much money you're going to make, like in a very short-term period. focus on the proof of concept, have that focus group mentality, but don't do this.
Thank you for answering the ad and coming in today. Avery, where are you right now?
I'm in focus group.
What are you doing in the focus group?
I'll be home in a few minutes, but don't worry about my dad. I'll be home soon.
So Maya, if you could have any button on your phone, what would that button do?
If I could have any button on my phone, I would love to press it and I have a shower. Because I feel so grimy sometimes.
Where would the water be stored?
It would be kind of one of those things, like it triggers a signal that finds out exactly where I am, and then a helicopter comes, and then all of a sudden they bring down a portable shower, which I'm sure is invented in Japan or something.
Jackie.
I'd like it to connect to my dogs. I got on the phone and I was like, "Hi, Bunny, it's Mama. Hi, Boots." They might be like, "Rawr, rawr, rawr."
Okay. Do you speak dog?
A little bit, yeah.
Let's grab your phones and let's go to video mode. Hit your bell. When you're in video mode, hit your bell.
I guess
What does that mean?
it's my allegiance to the dark side.
Like everyone to take a picture of anything they want in the room.
Can I have your phone? Yes, thank you.
Did I tell you you could switch phones?
We do our best to entertain while we inform. Okay, so team effort and collaboration. So you obviously want to work with experts. You want to find as many opinions that are expert opinions as possible when you're putting 3 targets together, 3 messages, and 3 offer variations. Now, that is what we recommend. So, for example, if you're a business coach, that's a pretty broad measure to be a business coach. There's a lot of different industries out there, a lot of different verticals that you can go after. So we're recommending 3, and talk to an expert about what is in the biggest demand, who can you help the most. For example, the CBD industry is really taking off, but there's a lot of inexperienced people in that industry that we have found that need a lot of help. So you want to craft 3 messages for that industry, and really you want to craft messages for each individual target. Now, we say 3, but you can do a lot more as well. And then 3 offer variations. And so you want to have, some tools in your toolbox for the offer variation. When you're talking to somebody, you kind of want to pick their brain a little bit and see what they're willing to pay for your program or for your service, and kind of figure it out. Now, of course, you have to have a business model in place as well. You need to make money. So these offer variations are not going to be totally dependent on what they're telling you, but you need to be somewhat flexible with the offer itself. Maybe it's something where you're offering more human contact with them, right? Maybe it's one-on-one meeting opposed to 0, or it's group meetings opposed to no actual human contact in the offer itself. So a lot of people who have courses go through that kind of variation. So it really depends on what you're doing. But the point is to be flexible enough when you have a meeting with somebody to really understand what is going to resonate with the vast majority of people that you're targeting. So 3 targets, 3 messages, 3 offer variations, and work with experts to get it as close to right as for the first time. Get it as close to perfect as you can the first time. Building relationships and gathering data and getting sales in the funnel. So the idea with this bootstrapping method, once again, is to combine human contact with data and technology. And a lot of people worry about time as well. So, if you're going to have a ton of meetings, God, how am I going to have so many meetings, right? Well, I'm going to show you in the next slide through technology and automation how we're able to do that. So we want you to build relationships in the funnel. And not only are you going to get clients from this, but you're going to be gathering valuable information that you can use to scale. after 20 to 30 meetings, you're going to start to see trends about your target, about your message, and your offer that are going to come to fruition. It's really incredibly valuable information that you can get at a very low cost. Plus, you're building relationships. I'm a big believer in relationship building, and I think it's a lost art in some ways. And that's why I really love the method of developing relationships and using technology to buy yourself time so you have the ability to do a lot of meetings, right? So after the optimization is complete, really once you sort of figured out what we call the magic bullet, the message, the target, and the offer, your closing ratio should go pretty high, anywhere from 20 to 30%. Now, this can vary if you're selling a very high ticket program, which kind of gets into cost per acquisition, which is kind of a different model, which I could do a whole webinar on that. If you are selling a high ticket program, this method works incredibly well, by the way. But you may only get 10% closing ratio opposed to 2 or 3% that you're getting possibly right now. So 20 to 30% is typically what you're looking for unless it's a high ticket program. Then the ratio will be a little bit lower, but you're probably still making really good money at that point. So, but you still got to prove the concept when you're doing a high ticket program. So 20 to 30 meetings, take your notes, get your data in place. You're going to get some clients in that process, should pay for most of your marketing. You, in fact, may get a good ROI when you're going through this process as well. But we're looking to scale with the information that is being provided to us in the funnel. Okay, so what is the most valuable asset we all have? Well, the odds are that maybe right now or at some point in your career, you have been just like this guy.
Remember me? We should grab a coffee or a tea. Would be nice to catch up. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, for sure, but I'll have to check my schedule. The thing is, I'm quite successful. My workload is monumental. Lately, on a whole nother level. Wall to wall, back to back, no time to stall. Gotta stay on track. Wall to wall, back to back, always on call. Cut me some slack. I would totally hang out with you. I'm just so busy.
So that guy needs a vacation, I think. So time is the most important asset that we all have. And without getting too deep into life, time from this perspective and context of this webinar is to get you enough meetings without taking away from other things that you're doing. Now, when you're building a company, delegation and being able to focus on the things that are truly important, what we call result-oriented activities, is really vital to any business. So obviously, you having meetings and understanding what is going to resonate with the message, the offer, and the target is going to be really important to your business. So how do you get the time to do all of this craziness? Well, I'm going to show you right now how we do this. So here is one of our proof of concept funnels. And what you're going to see here is a lot of top of the funnel opportunities like LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Google, Pinterest, and YouTube. So what we want to do is create messaging and messages at the top of the funnel. We're also going to use Oracle data, which I'm going to get into here in a minute. The thing to understand about this funnel is it's fully automated. Everything in here is automated with the exception of you having the meeting. This is going to generate leads and to get you Zoom meetings. Or if you want phone calls, that can be generated as well too. So, but the important piece is to understand all you're doing in this process is having a meeting. Everything else is fully automated from the front, top of the funnel, all the way to the back. Everything is automated with the exception of you having the human contact. Now, we also have webinar funnels as well. And the webinar funnels can be very powerful because we have things that are called webhooks in the platforms, which allows us to capture data about everybody that comes to our webinar. So you guys are in this as well. Obviously, you're in this webinar, and everything is fully automated. All the reminders you received and everything that you went through in this process was fully automated. So the only thing we're doing is the actual webinar itself. Now, a lot of people want to be more hands-on and personalized, which is perfectly fine on the back end with the emails and things of that nature. I tend to actually do that on a frequent basis, and I really want to get to know everybody, that I'm working with. So we do want you to book a free consultation if you are interested in having a chat with me about how I can help with your business, and I am very generous with the information I give away. So those are two of our proof of concept funnels that we have used for our clients that have been tremendously successful in gathering the necessary data and information and some sales to take them to the next level. Okay, let's get into a bit of secret sauce here. So intender data, and specifically Oracle intender data, there's a lot of other companies out there that you can get data from. Really, we use over 300 companies. Oracle is just one of them. But this is very powerful. This really makes the process of optimization and scale go much faster. You can use this data on all these platforms that you see here on the slides. It can send traffic to your website, create Zoom meetings, phone calls. There's just a lot that you can do with this data, and it's really at the top of the funnel that is a game changer. There's something called data sets, which mimic your targeting parameters. So when you're creating the 3 different targeting parameters, you're also creating data sets that go along with those, and we're going to test that data and how it works. So what exactly is this intender data? Well, I'm going to show you right now. Intender data segments and Oracle plus 300 more companies that offer data. So this is an example of how we can speak directly to somebody's interest, to their intention. Bob has been struggling with his new leadership position. His team's not listening to him. They're not being productive. And he has tried everything but hasn't found answers. He has been going on the net. He's been reading articles. He's been looking all over the place, but hasn't come up with anything. So Bob has a genuine intention to get help. We know that Bob has an intention to find some type of coach or consultant that's going to help him. So what happens? We're going to send Bob messages, and he's going to see ads based on this genuine intention. And this is a bit of secret sauce. This makes the process go much faster. And the vast majority of people don't know about this, but this is truly an insider secret here. So we are talking about tech to change the game. You just saw what the Oracle data is all about. Also, automated data capture by using webhooks, API connections, IP triggers, behavioral targeting IP capture is really one of the keys to bootstrapping. This allows for multiple touch points really at a very minimal cost. And you don't have to understand all this tech. It's actually not quite as complicated as you probably think it is. Ad tech can be complicated, but the things we do are relatively easy and simple to do. So this is a key method to bootstrapping as well. Multiple touch points at a very low cost to figure out our target, our message, and our offer. So how do we free up 20 to 40 hours a month and really get you focused on results-oriented activities? Well, we're going to automate your calendar invites, your Zoom links, your prospect data capture, your triggered email sequences, your meeting follow-up sequences, data optimization triggers, IP and intender data triggers, and AI messaging triggers. Now, that's a lot of tech, and you don't need to understand all of it. And you may have some of this that you work with now, like some of the calendar invites that's automated, some of the Zoom link stuff. But we're going to bring that whole ecosystem to a whole nother level with what we do. So let's bring it full circle. So preparation. We're going to collaborate. We're going to create our target, our message, our offer. We're going to plug in the Oracle Intender data along with a lot of other data sets from other companies as well. We're going to prospect and we're going to capture data when we book meetings. We're going to leverage automation in that process. We're going to have meetings, we're going to present, we're going to discover, we're going to connect with people on a human level, and then we're going to follow up using AI and using tech and using automation, and also with human contact as well. We're going to close deals, we're going to get revenue, we're going to discover through data analysis, and we're going to optimize, and we're going to pivot. This is the process that has served me very well and helped me to build 2 companies that were worth well over $100 million. The cool thing about this is that this can work for any size company. If you're a coach or a consultant that is working in your home office, this works. If you're a medium-sized B2B or small B2B company, this works. If you're Disney, this works when they're launching a new campaign. So we asked you in the very beginning to put all your questions into the chat. We're going to get to as many of them as we possibly can. And I'm going to jump back on camera here, and we're going to answer as many questions live here as we possibly can. But also, book a free consultation if you want to get in the weeds a little bit. I'm very generous, like I said, with my information that I give away. You may be very interested in our accelerator. We do look for companies that we can guarantee return on investment for. We're fairly picky about who we work with, but as long as you're not selling VCRs and you're not, a person that is smoking crack cocaine, then we will probably work with you. So let's get into the questions. Right. So the first question that came up is about HubSpot. And we don't use HubSpot. HubSpot has some good features, but we use something that we built ourselves on top of open source code, on top of high level code, and it works better. HubSpot has some really good automation to it, but typically it's not going to fit into the bootstrapping model, because to do all the automation in HubSpot and to get all the webhooks and everything that we do, you're looking at about $8,000 a month, which kind of takes you well beyond what I would call bootstrapping. So we have a system in place that we build funnels out. We have some pre-built technology in place that works incredibly well, but we work with companies who are bootstrapping and companies that are looking to prove the concept, and then we want to scale from there. So HubSpot, we don't necessarily recommend. We recommend using our platform. Obviously, we do work with some companies that work with other platforms, and we will use webhooks and APIs to create an ecosystem with their platform as well. But we recommend, from a pricing perspective, to use ours, because you aren't going to find one that is less expensive than ours that does what ours does. So that is our recommendation. Right. So also too, some people are inquiring about our ROI and how we basically operate. We operate on an ROI based on a 12-month period. We want to give ourselves enough time to figure out what's going to work for companies. Sometimes it's very quick, and sometimes it takes more time. But given the opportunity, we will always figure out exactly how to scale what you are doing. And the key to that is what we talked about here today. It's really about focusing on proof of concept. If you focus on proof of concept, you will eventually be able to scale. Industries change. Things change in the business world, especially right now. We're in a pretty bad economy. A lot of people are very fragmented in the workplace, and you really have to be able to pivot and be nimble with whatever you're doing. It's very, very important that you stay in the mindset of, okay, I need to figure out what's going to work, and then as soon as we figure that out, we scale. so many people get caught up in quick money and making money in a very short period of time. It's possible, but usually it's not the case. You have to figure out what is going to resonate with people on an emotional level and what is going to get them to purchase from you opposed to your competitors. And really, there's a lot of psychological nuance that goes into digital marketing in general. And the great news is that if you have the right technology, you have the right tracking systems, you have the right automation, you can figure out what works. Of course, there's business behind that as well too. You have to have the right business model, which we help with as well too. We even do things like fundraising, which somebody mentioned here as well too. But typically we take this proof of concept funnel and we can apply it to just about any industry, and we can figure out what's going to work and what's not. Building relationships when you're figuring things out is really, really important. Unless you want to spend $10,000 to $20,000 a month in order to trigger the algorithm on these platforms, this is the best way to do it. So this is the bootstrapping method that we have found to be incredibly effective. So I don't know if Luke, Matteo, you wanted to add anything to this? I'm putting him on the spot.
You covered it. You covered it pretty well, bro. The HubSpot piece was, I was about to type that in and then you got to it.
Yeah.
So
we got it. And that's pretty much all the questions that we had. We're very good at what we do. If anybody wants to book some time with me, I will give you a free consultation. I am very generous with my time. Anybody that has worked with me can attest to that. Very generous with the information. We are truly about helping people become successful. That is our ultimate goal. So I enjoyed this today. It was fun. I want to thank everybody for coming in, and we are going to see you the next time. Have a good one.